Some very disappointing news coming out of that press conference. We'll kind of get you caught up with everything there that was discussed. Kayshon Boutte, LSU's potential All-American wide receiver and the most productive member of the Tiger offense thus far this year, will not play again for the Tigers this season. Ed Orgeron confirmed a report that LSU will be without Kayshon Boutte the rest of the season. That's a devastating blow.
Man, that's tough. That's a guy that you really need, our most explosive playmaker on the outside, obviously our touchdown leader. And I think the worst part about it, it's garbage time pretty much when you lose your best player on the offensive side of the ball. Just a game you probably had no chance of winning, and he's out there trying to play and scrap for his team. It's just a terrible time to lose probably the best player on our offense. But if there was a position group to lose, it'd probably be receiver. Just a ton of depth in that room, but just not good news for the Tigers.
No, there is a ton of depth in that room. You're right, and there are a bunch of guys that are going to get a chance to play a little bit more and be featured in the offense a little bit more. Not unlike what we saw from Kayshon last year when Jamar Chase decided not to play and Terrace Marshall opted out and Eric Gilbert opted out, and all of a sudden he was the number one guy and made a move there. That'll be an opportunity that some of the freshmen have, but it's certainly depth behind Kayshon Boutte that is not to his level at this point under no circumstance. So it's just disappointing. It looked bad when you saw the injury. He was carted off, and we figured that may be the case, and that was confirmed today. We also learned that Ali Gay will not be available to play in this game for LSU. Look, that was a deep room. It is now crippled with injuries. It is incredibly thin. They do expect to get Glenn Logan back in the game this weekend, which really helps. But now you're without Andre Anthony, you're without Ali Gay, and you're without Joseph Evans, who they don't expect to be back. That's just a lot of experience depth up front that you certainly don't have experienced bodies to back them up with.
Yeah, and you've seen it. I think that was my biggest cause for concern for this team is we're not finishing games, and now you see with this decimated defensive line room, teams are going to want to run the ball down our throat. They're going to want to keep us out there for as long as we can, continue to stack these run plays up, and just grind us out and beat us up, man. And you never thought this LSU football team would be in position where teams like Kentucky are just running it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You just got to sit there and take it. It's just a bad spot to be in. So hopefully Glenn Logan can boost his defensive line, especially up the middle, because getting not touched for 6 yards down the field for the SEC leading rusher is just totally unacceptable. You can't have that. You're going to have games like Levis had. He completed 14 passes, and you lose by 3 touchdowns. So it's just not a good look.
And now you've got Florida coming in, who runs it better than Kentucky does. And they're coming in, and you've got that depleted unit. It's tough. He was asked about Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks is fine and available to play, so that is good news. Miles Brennan was also brought up and doesn't sound like he's going to be available until after the bye week. No word on what that does to the quarterback situation in terms of competition. Obviously, with Miles and having not done anything football-wise on the practice field for 3 months, you got to figure it's Max's team to ride with right now.
Yeah, it definitely is Max's team to ride with. Probably has the most rapport with these receivers. Been playing with them all year, but back-to-back weeks, man, he just didn't play like you would need your quarterback to do, especially when tough, tight SEC ball games. This week, 34 QBR, just let you know he wasn't using his legs at a high clip, wasn't completing passes at a high clip, just wasn't being efficient. Levis, only 14 completions, but a 90 QBR, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just he got outplayed. So hopefully Max's, he's only been a starter for 8 games thus far, so he's pretty much like an extended freshman year for him. Hasn't even been out there for 12 games yet. So he's going to have games like this. He's going to have games where, hostile road environments where you don't connect on those big, deep balls that you would love to create and connect on. We just haven't done that, and that's why you see this offense continue to struggle in these high, intense road games.
Look, it's an offense that we thought had a chance to be pretty good. You've got an All-American coming back at wide receiver, a ton of talent behind him, a running back crew that you've got some confidence in, a quarterback who played great down the stretch last year. And right now, it's just not a very good offensive unit. You look at what they did in the first half on Saturday, they had 120 total yards. They had run it 19 times. They'd committed to it. We're going to run the football. They ran it 19 times in the first half. They ran it for 48 yards, 2.5 yards a carry. And then you go to the outside, and you're trying to sustain some things by throwing the football and using that as an extension of your running game. And that really wasn't there either. You were shut out, and you had 63 total yards in the first quarter and then 57 yards in the second quarter. At halftime, you had 120 yards and no points. That's just That's not good. You're turning the ball over on the first drive because your offensive line is in disarray, and Max doesn't see the rusher come. You turn the ball over on a turnover and downs. Just no rhythm or efficiency on the offensive end when LSU goes up against a defense that's got some ability. It's a tough look.